Hello everyone. Today I had to do this video on the car again for one simple reason. I simply had no time yet to pause, to take a walk with the camera, to sit in the studio. I call it the studio, but it's not really a studio. It's an improvised studio. To sit in front of the computer, whatever. So I'm gonna keep it short. You all have heard about this list of conditions that Ukraine was shown by the US for continuing support. This list of demands, they call it reforms, and of course they use much nicer words. And a lot of YouTubers that dedicate to this subject, they have mentioned this. Some theories say that it's a list of demands that are impossible to meet, and this is a way to let go of the so-called Project Ukraine. Establish some impossible goals, and then say, hey, you haven't met this goal, so we can't keep on helping you. Well, I have a different theory. If you allow me, please indulge me for a few minutes. There is in fact a very hard set of conditions that was put forward, a document. These conditions, first of all, are the typical conditions, for example, that the IMF sets when it grants loans to countries in financial difficulties. I know this, and I have lived through an example of this because I am Portuguese. I live in Portugal, and in 2011 we asked for the assistance of the IMF and the European Fund, and we had a memorandum signed, and this memorandum goes as follows, in broad lines, of course. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna state the full document. So in broad lines, they want you, like any other IMF memorandum, they want you to nationalize your most lucrative enterprises, your strategic enterprises, nationalize your utilities, basically sell us the most rich part of your assets, and we consider granting you a loan for you to stay afloat. This is basically what the IMF has been doing throughout its history. Everyone knows. Only a few examples escaped from this, Russia being one of them. There's another rather interesting example. For example, Iceland also escaped this, but that was because they had the very competent leadership, which I think is the same case in the case of Russia. And so Ukraine was presented with a list of demands, this kind of style demands, and of course they want Ukraine to get rid of all the corruption. They always mention this. In the Portuguese case, it was the same. It was good governance, they call it, to impose good governance and to optimize. And they even mention that they want to help the poor, and they want to finish imbalances in society, which is completely ridiculous, because all the measures that they put forward actually worsen by manifold the conditions of the most vulnerable people, especially the working class people. So, what does this mean? Does the project Ukraine is going to end? I do not believe so. Sincerely, I'm beginning to sound like a broken record, but what would happen if simply the project Ukraine would be abandoned? In this event of the abandonment, what would happen? It's easy to figure, right? Ukraine would immediately crumble in the military aspect, and Russia would simply win a relatively easy victory. Because we know that United States, the West, have been sustaining all aspects of Ukrainian life, not just militarily, but in the whole economy of Ukraine is being sustained by the West. We are paying it, and yeah, so Project Ukraine simply cannot just crumble. I mean, they can find a way to pressure both sides. The US, it's still powerful enough, I think, to find a way to pressure both sides of the conflict. When I say both sides, I mean Ukraine and Russia. Of course, we know that the Ukrainian side is much more than Ukraine. Never mind. The belligerent sides directly involved, they can pressure both sides to reach an armistice, Korean type, whatever. So Ukraine can save face, Russia can save face, and the United States can go and dedicate to whatever they do throughout the world, sowing havoc or something like this. No, actually dedicating to the China case, which means sowing havoc, sowing chaos. So I don't think that these demands are put forward to impose an impossible goal on Ukraine, so that Ukraine refuses and revolts, and then eventually Zelensky is thrown out and the whole thing crumbles, the whole Project Ukraine crumbles. I do not go along with this theory. My theory is that they want to impose, I mean, don't forget they just fired, they keep firing high positions in Ukraine. I mean, being the most noticeable, the Ministry of Defense of all people during a war. So this must mean something. They wanna take powers away from the SBU. What do they want to do? They want to grab more power in Ukraine. This is what I really think is going on. They want to have a tighter grip on Ukraine. And I mean, the Ukrainians are really, what is the Ukrainian government going to do if they want to survive? There's not much they can do. They are 110% reliant on the West, on the United States, for the survival of this government. I'm not going to say the survival of Ukraine, because Ukraine would survive much better if it had not aligned with the West in the first place. So, I do think they just want a tighter grip. I mean, they see too much corruption, they see all these rivers of money being poured in, and a lot of it being dissipated through other networks, through private assets of politicians. I mean, you name it, all kinds of interests, all kinds of corruption going on. And I think they just want to administer their province, because it is, let's face it, it's a hard reality. I'm gonna take a lot of heat from a lot of pro-Ukrainian people. I do not mean any harm. I am not divisive. I think all people should live in peace, and I wish the best for all people. But they are doing the wrong choice in aligning with the West. They are digging their own grave. And so I think the United States just wants to profit more from Ukraine. It's been doing since it took power with this Maidan-friendly government, and we see this unrest begin now, this shaking in relations. I mean, just think of it. The United States can do whatever it wants. They can just go in and replace it and shape it any way, shape or form they want. They finance the whole show. They finance all the departments of the show. Think about it. Till the next one. And of course, if you like this video, please subscribe, follow this channel, help it grow a little bit, help it enhance its contribution in the information space. Thank you very much. Tune in for the next one.